Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. So in the last lecture we had finished with acceleration due to gravity. Okay, hope you are finding it easy. It is difficult to understand. Okay, so you may read it several times to understand. Okay, now we are moving on to the next topic. Before moving on to the next topic, the yesterday's homework. Okay, the last day's homework. In homework I had given you distinguish between mass and weight. Okay, that I had written on the board. You have to just write the points in the form of sentences. Distinguish between mass and weight. Okay, and one more question was there. Use your brain power 1 and 2. That also I had given you the answers on the board. You may copy it from the board. Okay, now we may move on to today's topic, that is free fall. Now what is meant by free fall? Okay, free fall means when an object is falling freely towards the ground. When an object is falling freely towards the ground. For example, I'll show you. Consider this is the surface of the earth. This is the surface of the earth and an object is here. Object is here. If it is falling freely, consider the parachute jumpers who jump from the plane. Okay, so when they are falling downwards, consider they are under the influence of gravity alone. This is the earth and they are attracted towards the center of the earth. Okay, they are attracted towards the center of the earth, so they will fall onto the surface of the earth. That type of fall, it is said to be free fall. Now when an object is falling, we don't consider frictional force and buoyant force. Okay, what is meant by frictional force? Frictional and buoyant. Okay, frictional, it is due to contact with air. Okay, when an object is falling, it is in contact with air. So the atmosphere causes some amount of friction to that object. The atmosphere causes some amount of friction to that object, and the buoyant force means the upward force exerted. For example, when we enter into water, the water exerts an upward force. We feel weightless. We feel not weightless means we feel that some amount of weight is reduced, isn't it? When we enter into water, we feel that some amount of weight is reduced. Why? Because the water pushes the body in the upward direction. Similarly, air also, whenever an object is falling, it pushes in the upward direction. That gives you a buoyant force. So there are two forces acting on a falling body, frictional force and buoyant force. Now when we are not considering frictional force and buoyant force and we are considering the gravitational force alone, then that fall, it is said to be free fall. Okay, what is the definition of free fall? Whenever an object moves under the influence of force of gravity alone, it is said to be falling freely or is a free fall. That is the definition of a freely falling body. Repeat, whenever an object moves under the influence of force of gravity alone, it is said to be falling freely or is a free fall. So this is what is a free fall. What is a free fall? Whenever an object is falling freely, okay, and it is considered to be under the influence of gravitational force alone, then it is said to be free fall. Okay, and in that case we are not considering the we are not considering the frictional force and the buoyant force. Okay, now we will see the next statement. This is a give reason which was asked in one of the schools. True free fall is possible only in vacuum. What do you mean by that sentence? During free fall, the frictional force due to air opposes the motion of the object and the buoyant force also acts on the object. What is frictional force? It is the force acted on the object by the atmosphere. And what is buoyant force? It is the upward force which is acted upon the object by the atmosphere. It is pushing the object in the upward direction. That is buoyant force. So during free fall, the frictional force due to air opposes the motion of the object, and a buoyant force also acts on the object. Thus, true free fall is possible only in vacuum. Now, in this definition, we are not considering the frictional force and the buoyant force. Okay. So, when is an object said to be falling freely? An object is said to be falling freely when it is under the influence of gravitational force alone. Okay. But here, when this object is falling, we are considering only gravitational force. We are not considering frictional force and buoyant force. That means truly free fall is possible only in vacuum. So true free fall is not possible in air. Okay. Now write the three kinematical equations of motion for a freely falling body. We had studied last year the three equations of motion for an object. Three equations of motion. What were the three equations of motion? It was V is equal to U plus AT, S is equal to UT plus half AT square, V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Do you remember? These were the three equations of motion, where U stands for initial velocity, V stands for final velocity, A stands for acceleration, and S stands for distance. Okay, S stands for distance. Now this is for any moving object. Here we are studying about a freely falling body. Now we know that when an object is thrown, this object is thrown in the upward direction. It will go higher. It will reach a position, reach here, stop for a fraction of a second, and then comes down. Okay, that means for an upward going object, final velocity equal to 0. V is equal to 0. When an object is going upwards, the final velocity is 0. And if the object, here it has to start from rest. So in this case, U is equal to 0. Understood? So this is downward movement, okay, for a downward falling object and an upward going object. When an object is going upward, the final velocity is 0, and when an object is falling downward, the initial velocity is 0. Okay, this you have to keep in mind for doing the numericals. So, what are the three kinematical equations of motion? The three equations of motion for a freely falling body will be V is equal to U plus AT, V is equal to U plus GT. Why? Because A is equal to G. Understood? A is equal to G. So, for a free fall, the initial velocity, this is considered to be a free fall. When an object is falling freely, U is equal to 0. So, for a free fall, the initial velocity equal to 0 and A is equal to G. What is G? G is acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so the equation becomes V is equal to U plus GT. But U is equal to 0. So the equation becomes V is equal to GT. So what is the first equation of motion? It is V is equal to GT. Second, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Okay, this is the original equation. S is equal to UT plus half AT square. So S is equal to UT plus half GT square because A is equal to G and u is equal to 0. So this will become 0. So s will become s is equal to half gt square. This is the second equation. S is equal to half gt square. Okay, and v square is equal to u square plus 2as. V square is equal to u square plus 2gs. As u is equal to 0, v square is equal to v square is equal to 2gs. In the textbook they have given these three equations. Now this is how the equations, we have got the equations. Okay, they have considered a is equal to g and u is equal to 0. If you are having a question on what are the three kinematical equations, then you may write, for a free fall the initial velocity is equal to 0 and a is equal to g. Thus the equations become, you may write these three or these three. Even if you write these three, you will get marks. Okay, so what are the three equations of motion for a freely falling object? It is v is equal to u plus gt, s is equal to ut plus half gt square, and v square is equal to u square plus 2gs, where v is equal to final velocity, u is equal to initial velocity, g is equal to acceleration due to gravity, and s is distance. Okay, now in this case s is also taken as h because it is the height. Okay, now when we do the numericals we will come across that. That means why to take h as s. Okay, now these are the three questions from the first part for today. So the questions are the definitions of free fall. True free fall is possible only in vacuum. And the third question, write the three kinematical equations of motion. Okay, you may copy it. So we are having some solved examples on the next page. Okay, it is very important for you to understand, they are asked. Okay, but you don't have to write all those sentences which have been provided in the textbook. You may write only this much. Okay, so in the first question, what is the first question? Example 1. An iron ball of mass 3 kg is released from a height of 125 meter. So here they have given height. So height is the distance. Okay, distance from the surface of the earth, and falls freely to the ground. Assuming that the value of g is 10 meter per second square, calculate. We have to calculate 3, that is time taken, velocity of ball and height of the ball. This is a 3-mark question and it is asked. I'll just show you how to do it. Given mass has been given as 3 kg. Distance is given as 125 meter. A means acceleration due to gravity, which is 10 meter per second square, and as it is a freely falling object, u is equal to 0. I repeat, when an object is going upwards, final velocity, that is v, is 0, and when an object is coming downwards, initial velocity, that is u, is 0. Here an iron ball is released from a height, that means it is falling, that means its initial velocity is 0. This you should understand. Now when you are doing problems in physics, first of all you should be thorough with the formulas. Okay, you should be knowing all the possible formulas from that chapter, whatever formulas are there in the chapter, and according to what has been given. Okay, in the question here what has been given and what they have asked to find out. Now they have asked to find t. Now what are the two possible equations of three equations of motion? What are the three equations of motion? V is equal to u plus gt, s is equal to ut plus half gt square, and v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Now in the third equation, that is v square is equal to u square plus 2as, in that equation there is no t. Understood? So we cannot use that equation. We can use the other two equations. Now while using other two equations, you may use the first equation or the second equation. In the first equation, v is equal to u plus gt. You know u, you know g, but you don't know v. Okay, so we cannot use that equation. So which equation is remaining? It is s is equal to ut plus half gt square. So first of all you should be knowing all the formulas, and you have to see what has been given in the question, and accordingly you have to decide which equation you should be using. This comes by practice, nothing else. In the board exams you will be asked only the questions from the textbook, whether it could be solved examples or the questions from the exercise. So no need of practicing, no need of calculating any extra questions. Only in school level they might ask you some questions outside the textbook, but in board level confirm the questions are from the textbook itself. The numbers might vary, but the questions are from the textbook itself. So practice all the numericals which are there in the textbook. Okay, so find t. That is the first question. We will use the equation s is equal to ut plus half gt square. S is given as 125, u into t. That means 0 into t. What 0 into t will give you 0 plus half gt square. Okay, for half gt square we have taken half gt square. G is taken as 10 and t square we have to calculate. So this and this cancel, so you'll get it as 5. So it will become 125 is equal to 5t square. Therefore t square is equal to 125 upon 5, that is 25. Therefore t is equal to root of 25, which is equal to 5 seconds. S stand for seconds. Hence t is equal to 5 seconds. Okay. Now the second question is to find the velocity. Velocity means v, that is the final velocity. We know that initial velocity is equal to 0. The equation v is equal to u plus gt. We know what is u, we know what is g, we know what is t. It is given, isn't it? So we may use the first equation. So v is equal to u plus gt. V is equal to 0 plus 10 into 5. G is 10, t is 5. Okay, so 10 into 5 you will get v as 50 meter per second. Okay, now the third one is find height at half the time. Half the time. What is time? 5 seconds. So what will be the half time? Half time will be 2.5 seconds. Okay, now what will be the height at 2.5 seconds? That is the question. So s is equal to ut plus half gt square. S is equal to 0 into 2.5, u is 0, t is 2.5, so 0 into 2.5 plus half into 10 into 2.5 square. This 2 and 5 will get cancelled, so 5 into 6.25. So you have to calculate this much. Okay, so you will get it as 5 into 6.25, that is 31.25 meter. Therefore S is equal to 31.25 meter. This is the answer. Okay, this much you have to write if you are having this question. You may copy it in your notebook. Okay, now this is the next example on page number 12. Okay, the question is, a tennis ball is thrown up and reaches a height of 4.05 meter before coming down. What was its initial velocity? How much time will it take to come down? Okay, now here a tennis ball has been thrown. It is going up and it is coming down. Whenever an object is thrown up, its final velocity will be 0. Whenever an object comes down, its initial velocity will be 0. This you have to always remember. Okay, when an object is going up, the final velocity is 0. When an object is coming down, the initial velocity is 0. And when an object is going up, consider this is the surface. If it is going up, okay, then it is moving against the gravitational force. What is the direction of gravitational force? What is the direction of acceleration due to gravity? It is directed towards the center of the earth. That means its direction, the direction of force is downwards. As it is moving in the upward directions, G, you have to take it as negative. Understood? You have to take it as negative. Why G is taken as negative? When an object is going up, G is taken as negative because it is moving opposite to the direction of gravitational force of attraction. Okay, that means when an object is going up, you have to take the value of G as negative, and when you are calculating when an object is coming down, the value of G you have to take it as positive. Okay, so here given S is equal to 4.05 meter, for V is equal to 0 meter per second. Why I have taken it as 0? Because the object is going in the upward direction. And G is, I have taken it as -10. Why I have taken it as -10? Because the object is going in the upward direction. When an object goes up, G is negative. When an object comes down, G is positive. Okay. Now, find initial velocity. Again, you have to see what all have been given. You have been given S, V and G. You don't have T. So you cannot use an equation which is having T, and the first two equations are having T. So which equation is not having T? It is the third equation. So we will consider the third equation. So V square is equal to U square plus 2GS. V is equal to 0. U we are calculating, so U square 2 into G into S, 2 into -10 into 4.05. This U square, when you take it on to the left hand side, it will become minus U square is equal to -81, or U square is equal to 81. U is equal to root of 81, which is equal to 9. Okay, so the initial velocity is 9 meter per second. Okay, now the second is to find the total time it will take to come down. The object is going up. The tennis ball has to go up and it has to come down. The question is, what is the total time to go up and down? Okay, so we will consider the downward movement because we will take G as positive. Understood? When an object comes down, G is positive. When an object goes up, G is negative. Okay, so here we are going to consider the object is coming down. Let us consider the downward motion. So U is equal to 0. Understood? U is equal to 0. So S is equal to ut plus half gt square. This equation we are using 4.05 into 0 into t, half into 10 into t square. Okay, you are substituting the values. Sorry. So substituting the values, you will get it as 4.05 is equal to 5t square. T square is equal to 4.05 upon 5 is equal to 0.81. Therefore, T is equal to root of 0.81, which is equal to 0.9s. Okay, so the time to come down is 0.9 seconds. What will be the time to go up? It will be 0.9 seconds. The time taken to come down and the time taken to go up is the same, because the same force of attraction is there. Okay, no any other force is acting on an object. Hence, total time is equal to 2 into, that is going and coming, 2 into 0.9, which is equal to 1.8 seconds. Okay. So, sometimes you can use other equations also, but here as we are considering the time, we are using an equation which has time. Okay. So, if can we use the equation V is equal to U plus GT? Yes, we can use the equation U is equal to U plus GT also. But T we are going to consider. Okay. With that equation, you may do and see if you want. Otherwise, this equation is also correct. Okay. You may copy this. Okay. And the last question on page number 12, there is a question of use your brain power. Okay, use your brain power. I will give you the answer for that. First, you may copy this. Okay, now the last part for today. Use your brain power, page number 12. There is a question towards the end of that page. What is the question? Okay, according to Newton's laws of motion, Earth's gravitational force is higher on an object of larger mass. Why doesn't that object fall down with higher velocity as compared to an object with lower mass? Okay, now when two objects are falling downwards, consider two objects are falling downwards, we have seen that the object which is having a higher mass will come down first and the object which is having a lower mass will come next. Okay, why? Because the gravitational force is acting. As the gravitational force is acting, it is falling towards the center of the earth. Okay, but there is a frictional force, there is a buoyant force which is acting on the body. On the heavier object, the buoyant force will be lesser, and on the lighter object, the buoyant force will be more. Understood? So for example, if you take a page, of a notebook, you crumble it and then put it down, it will go directly downwards. Take another page of the same notebook. Okay, the weight will be the same. You keep as it is, you don't crumble it. Okay, you keep as it is and you put it downwards. It will go on floating. Understood? So why it goes on floating? Because the buoyant force of atmosphere is pushing it in the upward direction. That is why it is going on floating. That means if the weight of both the objects are the same, the buoyant force and the frictional force which is acting on the object, that plays some role for falling it onto the surface of the earth. Several scientists has done several experiments. Some link is given on page number 11. Okay, below there is a link given here. You may try this link. They have given an experiment to show that a stone and a feather, it falls at the same time in vacuum. Okay, now why does it fall so? When an object is falling, there is gravitational force which is attracting it towards the center of the earth. But the acceleration due to gravity for a heavier object and a lighter object is the same. What is the equation to find out acceleration due to gravity? G is equal to gm upon r square. We will see G is equal to gm upon r square. G is equal to gm upon r square. Okay, in this equation, what is G? G is gravitational constant, m is mass of the earth, and r is radius of the earth. In this equation, is there anywhere mass of the object, whether it is a heavier object or a lighter object? In this equation, there is no mass of the object. So whatever the mass of the object may be, the acceleration due to gravity of the earth is the same. So whether it is a stone or a feather, it should fall at the same time onto the surface of the earth, but in vacuum. Okay, I repeat, whether a heavier object or a lighter object, it should fall onto the surface of the earth at the same time. Why? Because G is independent of mass of the object. Okay. Now, why it doesn't fall? It doesn't fall so freely. That means in open atmosphere it doesn't fall so. Why? Because the buoyant force is pushing the lighter object more. The buoyant force acting on the lighter object is more. So what is the answer for the question? The answer is the value of G is independent of size, shape, mass, etc. of the body. Okay, of the object which is falling. Hence, the object with greater mass and the object with comparatively less mass, both will fall with the same velocity. Okay, you may see the experiment which is given in the link. It is a very good link. You may observe it. Very interesting it is. Okay, so now homework for today. What is meant by free fall? Write the three kinematic equations of motion for a freely falling object. This I have given on the board. You may write the answer. Okay. True free fall is possible only in vacuum. Answer again I have given. Okay. So you may either copy it or copy it from the textbook. You may mark in the textbook. Okay. And the solved examples are page number 12. You may solve it as I had done on the board. You don't have to write all those sentences in the textbook. You have to show the calculations only and learn that part. That's all. Okay. See you.